Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Or if you're new here, a very warm welcome. Today, we are diving headfirst into a topic that I guarantee touches every single one of us at some point, and for many, far too often, that draining feeling of lacking motivation, the heavy blanket of laziness, and the sneaky grip of procrastination. You know the drill, right? You have a critical project looming at work, a challenging exam to study for, a health goal that requires consistent exercise, a new skill you're eager to master, or even just a pile of chores that seems to mock you from the corner of the room. You know, intellectually, that these tasks are important, even crucial, for your growth, well-being, or success. Yet, despite this clear understanding, a powerful mental resistance kicks in. You find yourself scrolling mindlessly, staring blankly at a screen, or finding any other task, no matter how trivial, to occupy your time and attention. That pervasive sense of "I just don't feel like it" can be incredibly frustrating, leaving you feeling stuck, unproductive, and often guilty. This isn't a sign of weakness. It's simply a common obstacle that, thankfully, can be systematically overcome. We don't have to remain prisoners to our fleeting emotions or the whims of our motivation. We can learn to master the art of deliberate action, regardless of our internal state. The truth is, waiting for inspiration to strike or for a sudden surge of boundless energy to magically appear is often a recipe for perpetual inaction. Motivation, while wonderful when it shows up, is an unreliable guest. It's inconsistent, temperamental, and frankly, too unpredictable to be the sole driver of our progress and achievements. If we only act when we feel like it, many important tasks will simply never get done, and our most ambitious goals will remain distant dreams. This isn't just about losing a few hours. It's about compromising your potential, delaying your aspirations, and allowing a temporary feeling to dictate the trajectory of your life. The gap between knowing what you should do and actually doing it can be vast and disheartening. It leads to missed opportunities, accumulated stress, and a lingering sense of unfulfillment. But what if there was a way to bridge that gap? What if you could cultivate an inner strength, a set of practical tools that empower you to bypass the emotional resistance and simply initiate action, consistently and effectively? This isn't about being a robot or denying your feelings. It's about developing a robust mental toolkit that works with your human nature, rather than against it, enabling you to build momentum and achieve meaningful progress even on your toughest days. That's precisely what we are here to explore today. In this comprehensive video, we are going to dive deep into powerful, actionable strategies designed to help you force yourself to take action, even when you absolutely, positively don't feel like it. We are going to shift our focus from the elusive concept of motivation to the rock-solid foundation of discipline and strategic execution. This isn't a motivational hype speech that leaves you pumped for 5 minutes and then crashes. This is a practical guide filled with implementable techniques that you can start using immediately to overcome procrastination, build powerful habits, and develop an unshakable sense of self-discipline. Our ultimate goal is to equip you with the mental frameworks and tactical approaches necessary to break free from the cycle of inertia, transform your intentions into tangible results, and ultimately, empower you to achieve every single one of your life's objectives. So, how exactly do we cultivate this ability to act despite our inner reluctance? We'll begin by discussing the profound power of accepting your feelings, understanding that it's okay to feel unmotivated, but not allowing that feeling to become an excuse for inaction. This simple yet revolutionary mindset shift reduces internal resistance and creates an opening for progress. From there, we'll move into practical, immediate steps like implementing the 5-minute rule or the strategy of starting with the absolute smallest step, which cleverly leverages psychological inertia to get you past the most challenging part of any task, the beginning. We'll then explore the crucial impact of your environment, showing you how to strategically set up your physical and digital spaces to minimize distractions and maximize focus. We'll delve into the foundational concept of prioritizing discipline over fleeting motivation, understanding that consistent action builds the mental muscle necessary for long-term success. You'll learn how to consistently remind yourself of your deepest why, connecting your immediate, potentially unpleasant tasks to your ultimate goals and values, providing an enduring source of intrinsic strength. We'll uncover the genius behind the Eat the Frog technique, teaching you how to tackle your most daunting task first thing in the morning to build momentum and conquer stress. And finally, we'll discuss the art of smartly rewarding yourself, creating positive feedback loops that make future action more appealing and sustainable. These strategies aren't just theoretical. They are proven methods used by high achievers across various fields. They are tools that, when consistently applied, can fundamentally transform your relationship with work, challenges, and personal growth. We are talking about actionable steps that will help you bridge the gap between intention and execution, between wishing and doing. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear roadmap and a powerful set of techniques to navigate those moments when you feel utterly devoid of drive. Remember, every tiny action you take, every moment you push past resistance, is a significant victory. Don't wait for inspiration. Create it by taking that first, often uncomfortable, step. As the timeless wisdom reminds us, even the smallest action is infinitely more powerful than the grandest intention never acted upon. So, let's stop wishing and start doing. Get ready to transform your approach to action, starting today. Thank you for joining us, and let's dive into these life-changing strategies. We've all been there, haven't we? That familiar feeling of resistance, the heavy blanket of inertia that descends when we know there's something important we should be doing, but our bodies and minds just scream no. It's that internal battle when the alarm goes off for your morning workout, or the blank page stares back at you for that crucial report, or the messy room feels like an insurmountable mountain. This isn't just about big projects. It can be about anything from learning a new skill to tackling daily chores. You're not alone in feeling this way. It's a deeply human experience, a testament to our brain's natural inclination towards comfort and efficiency. The challenge isn't eradicating this feeling entirely. That's often an impossible and frustrating goal. The true power lies in understanding how to navigate it, how to force yourself to take action even when that powerful urge to resist is at its peak. So, let's kick things off with what might seem counterintuitive but is absolutely foundational. The crucial first step is to accept your feelings. Yes, you heard that right. Instead of fighting that wave of demotivation or guilt, acknowledge it. Tell yourself, I really don't feel like doing this right now. This isn't giving in. It's a powerful act of self-awareness. When you resist or shame yourself for feeling lazy, you often create more internal friction, making it even harder to start. Fighting your feelings just expends energy without progress. By simply saying, okay, I recognize this feeling of lethargy or resistance, you disarm a significant portion of its power. You're not letting it dictate your next move, nor are you pretending it doesn't exist. This acceptance creates a small but critical psychological distance, a breathing room between the emotion and your potential response. It allows you to move from a reactive state to a more intentional one, observing a cloud rather than being caught in a storm. Acknowledging your current emotional state, without judgment, reduces mental pressure and clears a path for strategic action. You're not saying the feeling is right or that you should act on it. You're just acknowledging its presence as a temporary state. This self-compassion is surprisingly effective in preparing your mind for what comes next. Once you've acknowledged those feelings, the next powerful strategy involves leveraging what we call the 5-minute rule or, more broadly, the smallest step method. This technique is brilliant in its simplicity and profound in its impact. The core idea is this: when a task feels overwhelming, or your motivation is at rock bottom, commit to doing the absolute smallest possible part of it for just 5 minutes. That's it. Just 5 minutes. The psychological barrier to starting something big is immense. Our brains perceive huge tasks as threats, triggering avoidance. But 5 minutes? That feels manageable, almost trivial. It's a trick, a gentle nudge to bypass your brain's resistance to big effort. Let's illustrate with practical examples. If you need to write a lengthy report, don't commit to the whole thing. Instead, just open the document, write the title, maybe the first sentence. That's it for 5 minutes. If facing laundry, don't think about folding everything. Just pick up one sock, or put one shirt into the washing machine. If your goal is to exercise, promise yourself you'll just put on your workout clothes and do 5 minutes of stretching. The magic often happens once you've actually started. That initial push, that smallest commitment, creates momentum or action bias. Once in motion, it's remarkably easier to stay in motion. The resistance felt before starting dissipates because the task no longer feels like an intimidating peak, but a gentle slope you've begun to ascend. Often, those 5 minutes turn into 10, then 20, leading to significant progress, far more than by just agonizing over it. This method isn't about doing the entire task in 5 minutes. It's about breaking procrastination's spell by getting the ball rolling, creating tiny victories that build confidence and propel you forward. It teaches your brain that starting isn't as painful as it imagines. Remember, the hardest part is almost always just getting started. Now, with your feelings accepted and a tiny step taken, let's talk about setting the stage for success, optimizing your environment. Our surroundings play a far more significant role in our ability to focus and maintain motivation than we often realize. A chaotic, distracting environment is a silent saboteur of productivity, constantly pulling your attention away and making it exponentially harder to concentrate and act. Imagine your brain battling constant notifications, a cluttered desk, or open, irrelevant browser tabs. This cognitive load drains mental energy before you've even begun. Therefore, consciously creating a conducive environment is a powerful proactive step. Before you even sit down, take moments to eliminate distractions. Put your phone on silent, ideally in another room. Close all unnecessary tabs and applications. Tidy your immediate workspace. If exercising, lay out clothes and shoes visibly. If studying, ensure your desk is clear and materials ready. This isn't just about aesthetics, it's about reducing friction. Every obstacle adds to the mental resistance you must overcome. By making your environment work for you, not against you, you significantly lower the barrier to entry. A clean, organized space sends a clear signal to your brain. This is a place for intentional work. It minimizes decision fatigue, directing valuable mental energy towards the task itself, rather than fighting external intrusions. This preparation primes your mind for action, making the transition from thinking to doing smoother. It removes easy excuses, smoothing the path, ensuring that when you take that small initial step, your surroundings support your momentum. This holistic approach, combining mental acceptance, tiny actions, and environmental optimization, creates a powerful triad designed to help you override procrastination and consistently move forward, even when you truly don't feel like it. This brings us to an even deeper principle that underpins all sustainable action: the undeniable power of discipline over transient motivation. All right, so we've explored accepting our feelings, taking tiny steps, and setting up our environment for success. This brings us to an even deeper principle that underpins all sustainable action: the undeniable power of discipline over transient motivation. Now, this isn't to say motivation is bad. Far from it. That initial burst of energy, that sudden surge of excitement when you start a new project or decide to make a big change, that's motivation at its finest. It's exhilarating, it feels great, and it can propel you forward in those early stages. But here's the crucial distinction: motivation is a feeling. And like all feelings, it's fickle. It comes and goes like the tide. Some days you'll wake up feeling on top of the world, ready to conquer your to-do list. Other days, the thought of even getting out of bed feels like an insurmountable challenge, let alone tackling that demanding report or hitting the gym. Relying solely on motivation is like trying to build a skyscraper on a foundation of shifting sand. It might look impressive and promising for a while, but it's inherently unstable. Discipline, on the other hand, is entirely different. It's not about how you feel, it's about what you do, consistently, regardless of your emotional state. Discipline is the unwavering commitment to your goals, the conscious choice to take the necessary actions even when every fiber of your being screams for comfort and procrastination. Think of it this way: motivation is the spark, but discipline is the steady flame that keeps the fire burning. It's the athlete who shows up for practice every single day, not just when they feel inspired, but because they are disciplined in their pursuit of excellence. It's the writer who commits to a certain word count daily, even when the words aren't flowing, because they understand that consistency is the bedrock of creation. Discipline is about establishing a clear personal standard for yourself and then living up to it, day in and day out. It's a deliberate, cultivated habit that strengthens over time, transforming what once felt like a struggle into a fundamental part of who you are and how you operate. So, how do we cultivate this powerful force called discipline? It's not an innate trait that some people are born with and others aren't. Rather, it's a skill, a muscle that grows stronger with consistent exercise. Just like we discussed with the 5-minute rule for starting tasks, building discipline often begins with small, manageable commitments. Instead of trying to suddenly overhaul your entire routine and become a productivity machine overnight, start by identifying 1 or 2 key actions you know you need to take consistently, regardless of how you feel. Maybe it's spending 15 minutes organizing your workspace, or reviewing your goals for 10 minutes each morning, or doing 20 push-ups. The key is to commit to these actions daily, or at least regularly, and stick to them. Each time you follow through, even when you're tempted to skip, you're essentially doing a valuable rep for your discipline muscle. You're proving to yourself that you are capable of doing what you say you will do, which builds self-trust and reinforces the habit of action. This consistent follow-through helps to rewire your brain, slowly but surely. You're moving from an identity of "I only work when I feel motivated" to "I am someone who takes consistent action." This shift in self-perception is incredibly powerful. When you identify as a disciplined person, it becomes easier to make choices aligned with that identity. It's no longer about forcing yourself every single time. It becomes a natural extension of who you are. This is where your why truly comes into play, as we mentioned earlier. When discipline feels difficult, reconnecting with the deeper reason behind your actions provides the necessary fuel. Why are you putting in this effort? What future self are you building? What impact do you want to make? Holding onto that clear vision provides an anchor when the waters of inaction feel turbulent. Your profound why isn't just a niceto-have. It's the bedrock that supports your disciplined efforts, giving them meaning and purpose beyond the immediate discomfort. This brings us to a highly effective strategy that embodies the spirit of discipline, the eat the frog technique. This idea, popularized by Brian Tracy, is simple yet profoundly impactful. Identify your most important, and often most dreaded, task for the day, and tackle it first thing in the morning. Metaphorically speaking, if you have to eat a live frog, it's best to do it first thing in the morning. Nothing worse will happen to you the rest of the day. When you conquer that frog, that big, ugly, truly intimidating task, early on, you experience a massive surge of accomplishment and relief. The rest of your day instantly feels lighter, more manageable, and infused with positive momentum. This isn't just about getting a difficult task done. It's a deliberate act of flexing your discipline muscle right out of the gate. You're choosing discomfort and productivity over ease and procrastination, and that choice sets the tone for everything else that follows. Beyond individual acts of discipline, establishing robust systems and routines is another cornerstone for consistent action. Relying solely on willpower is a recipe for exhaustion. Instead, design your environment and your schedule so that the default option is to take action. This is where habit stacking comes in. Instead of trying to add a brand new habit in isolation, link it to an existing habit. For example, if you want to start meditating, immediately after you brush your teeth, sit down for 5 minutes. If you want to plan your day, do it right after your morning coffee. These established cues reduce the mental effort required to start, making discipline less about brute force and more about elegant design. Similarly, pre-commitment can be a game changer. Lay out your workout clothes the night before, schedule specific time blocks for deep work in your calendar, or even tell a friend about your goals to create a layer of accountability. These systematic approaches remove friction and automate action, making it far easier to stay on track, even when your internal motivation is flagging. They transform the struggle of decision-making into an effortless flow of disciplined behavior, allowing you to bypass the internal debate and simply do. The beauty of consistent, disciplined action lies in its cumulative effect. Each small step you take, each time you choose to act despite not feeling like it, contributes to a larger transformation. It's like compound interest for your personal growth and productivity. The gap between your intentions and your actions begins to shrink, replaced by a reliable bridge of consistency. You start seeing tangible progress, which, ironically, often reignites motivation. It becomes a virtuous cycle. Discipline leads to action, action leads to results, results fuel more discipline, and sometimes even a renewed spark of motivation. This ongoing loop helps you break free from the frustrating cycle of starting and stopping, allowing you to build real, sustainable momentum towards your most important goals. Remember, the goal isn't to eliminate feelings of reluctance or procrastination entirely. That's an unrealistic expectation for any human being. The goal is to develop the capacity to act in spite of those feelings. It's about recognizing that while inspiration is a wonderful guest, discipline is the reliable host that keeps the party going. Don't wait for motivation to strike. It's a myth that you need to feel like doing something before you can do it. Often, it's the other way around. Action creates motivation. The moment you start, even with just a tiny step, you generate momentum, and that momentum often brings with it the very motivation you were waiting for. So, embrace the discomfort, lean into the discipline, and take that first small step today. Your future self will thank you for it. By consistently choosing action over inertia, you're not just getting tasks done, you're actively shaping a more resilient, productive, and ultimately more fulfilling life. The power to create that life lies not in waiting for inspiration, but in the unwavering commitment to simply begin. Welcome back as we continue our discussion on mastering productivity. As we established, true progress isn't about waiting for inspiration, but embracing action even when absent. This unwavering commitment to simply begin transcends mere task completion. It fundamentally alters your self-perception, forging a powerful, proactive identity. When you consistently choose to act despite internal resistance, You're casting votes for the person you aspire to be. You signal to yourself that you are someone who follows through, who is disciplined, prioritizing long-term vision over fleeting discomfort. This subtle yet significant shift from "I need to do X" to "I am the kind of person who does X" is a game changer, embedding desired behaviors into your core identity instead of viewing them as external obligations. Consider this. If you aim to be a writer, you don't await a creative burst. You sit down and write, even if it's just a sentence. If you aspire to fitness, you don't wait for motivation. You put on workout clothes and move, even briefly. Each small, deliberate action reinforces this chosen identity, slowly solidifying it subconsciously. This identity-based approach leverages a deep psychological principle. Humans seek consistency between their beliefs and actions. When you believe you are a doer, you are far likelier to do, even when challenging. This isn't faking it. It's intentionally choosing actions aligned with your desired future self, thereby transforming who you are in the process. The science behind this isn't just psychological. It's rooted in neurobiology. Every time you push past procrastination to act, however small, you literally rewire your brain. Your brain's reward system, involving dopamine, is key. Completing a resisted task releases dopamine, creating satisfaction. This positive feedback loop strengthens neural pathways for that action, easing initiation next time. Over time, these pathways become robust, transforming an effortful choice into an automatic response, a habit. This ingrains discipline, not through finite willpower, but consistent repetition that literally changes your brain's structure and function. You're not just fighting inertia, you're actively training your brain to embrace productive action. However, understanding these mechanisms doesn't eliminate initial challenges. Many grapple with deeper barriers than simple laziness. It could be fear of failure, paralyzing us before we start. Or, paradoxically, fear of success, where achieving a goal might bring unwelcome changes. Perfectionism, another insidious foe, convinces us if we can't do it perfectly, it's not worth doing, perpetuating inaction. Sometimes, cognitive load of a complex task feels overwhelming, making our brains default to avoidance. Recognizing these underlying fears and cognitive distortions is the first step to disarming them. It fosters self-awareness and compassion, moving beyond labels like lazy. We can then apply strategies not just to tasks, but to these deeper psychological hurdles. This is where micro-commitments or tiny habits truly excel, going beyond the 5-minute rule. Break tasks down to a comically small degree, making the entry barrier so low your brain can't justify not starting. If a report feels like Everest, your micro-commitment might be to open the document and type one word. If cleaning seems insurmountable, pick up one item. For exercise, one squat. The trick: make it ridiculously easy to ensure success, immediately generating that tiny dopamine hit and building momentum. The goal isn't task completion then, but merely initiating motion. Often, once initial resistance is overcome, steps feel less daunting, and you'll find yourself continuing longer than planned. The psychological benefit of these minuscule tasks is immense. Each tiny completion fosters a positive feedback loop, a miniature victory boosting your self-efficacy, your belief in your ability to succeed. This accumulates evidence that you are capable, that you can start and follow through. Small wins compound, building a robust internal reservoir of confidence and resilience. When facing larger challenges, you draw upon this history of successful micro-completions, reminding yourself you've shown up, even when unwilling. This builds an internal narrative of competence, transforming your relationship with effort. Beyond internal shifts, designing your environment and leveraging accountability significantly amplify action when motivation wanes. Environmental design isn't just distraction removal, it's setting up your space to make the desired action the default, the path of least resistance. To exercise, lay out gym clothes and shoes the night before. For focus, clear your workspace, organize tools, use noise-canceling headphones to signal focus time. External accountability also combats procrastination. Sharing goals with a trusted friend, mentor, or public forum creates gentle pressure. Knowing someone expects you to deliver often provides the push to overcome inertia, transforming internal resistance into a commitment you uphold for others, strengthening your self-commitment. Crucially, connect your actions to self-compassion for long-term consistency. This isn't indulging laziness, it's understanding consistent action, however difficult, is profound self-care and an investment in your future. Recognizing that showing up for yourself, even unwillingly, testifies to your commitment to growth and the life you envision. This perspective shifts the narrative from a punitive "I have to" an empowering "I choose to," because you value your future self. Reminding yourself of your why isn't just a trick. It grounds daily efforts in core values, providing an unwavering anchor when motivation is choppy. What if, despite these strategies, you inevitably miss a day? This is where "never miss twice" becomes incredibly powerful. Perfection is an illusion, often leading to abandonment. Instead of letting one missed day derail progress, commit to getting back on track immediately. Miss a workout? Don't let it become two. Skip writing? Be back at your desk tomorrow. This rapid recovery prevents minor setbacks from snowballing into catastrophic failures, reinforcing resilience and proving consistency is persistence, not flawless execution. It's building a muscle that recovers quickly, adapts, and always returns to action. Ultimately, the message is clear: don't wait for inspiration, create it through action. The feeling often follows the act, not vice versa. By embracing these strategies, identity-based habits, neurobiology understanding, micro-commitments, environmental design, accountability, self-compassion, and resilient recovery, you're not merely hoping for a productive life. You are actively, deliberately, and powerfully building it, one intentional action at a time. The path to your goals isn't paved with good intentions. It's paved with consistent, sometimes uncomfortable, but always rewarding action. The path to your goals isn't paved with good intentions. It's paved with consistent, sometimes uncomfortable, but always rewarding action. This journey isn't just about achieving tasks. It's about forging a more resilient, unstoppable version of yourself. Throughout our discussion, we've explored potent strategies to help you overcome inertia and propel yourself forward, even when that inner voice urges you to stay put. We began by acknowledging a fundamental truth: it's perfectly normal to not feel like doing something. Fighting this natural human feeling is often futile. Instead, we learn to accept it, name it, and then strategically move past it. Remember the liberating power of saying, "I know I'm feeling unmotivated right now, but I will still dedicate just 5 minutes to this task." This simple acceptance disarms mental resistance, opening the door for productive engagement. Then, we explored the transformative 5-minute rule. When faced with a daunting task, fragmenting it into minuscule, almost trivial, initial actions is a game changer. Just open a document, type the title, or pick up one item of clutter. The objective isn't full completion, but to ignite momentum. Once you take that initial leap, the psychological barrier often diminishes, making continuation far easier. It's like pushing a heavy cart. The first push is the hardest, but maintaining its movement requires less effort. Our conversation also highlighted your environment's indispensable role. A disorganized space frequently mirrors a scattered mind. By consciously curating your physical and digital surroundings, eliminating distractions, preparing tools beforehand, you construct a clear runway for focused action. Lay out your athletic wear, clear your workstation, close non-essential browser tabs. These minor adjustments drastically reduce friction, making initiation simpler and avoidance harder. Crucially, we underscored the foundational principle: discipline consistently triumphs over fleeting motivation. Motivation is capricious, ebbing and flowing. Discipline, conversely, represents the steadfast commitment to act in alignment with your core values and objectives, irrespective of your transient emotional state. It's a personal muscle developed through continuous, intentional practice. Each instance you choose to proceed despite internal reluctance strengthens this vital muscle, cultivating habits that endure long after initial inspiration dissipates. This isn't about being an automaton. It's about cultivating unwavering reliability in your productive output. We then delved into remembering your why. When encountering significant internal resistance, pausing to reconnect with your ultimate purpose, your overarching vision, or the substantial benefits awaiting you, serves as a potent antidote to procrastination. Connecting your immediate, potentially uncomfortable action to a grander, deeply meaningful outcome injects it with profound purpose, bolstering your resolve. What is the fundamental reason you embarked on this path? Keeping this pivotal vision perpetually at the forefront of your awareness is key. And naturally, we discussed the highly effective Eat the Frog technique, strategically tackling your most challenging, or least desirable, task first thing in the morning. Conquering that formidable task early on not only significantly alleviates mental strain but also provides an immediate, palpable sense of accomplishment, thereby establishing distinctly positive, productive momentum. It's a decisive victory that frequently catalyzes further productivity. Imagine the profound relief and immense satisfaction derived from knowing the most arduous part of your day is already behind you. Finally, we explored the strategic value of intelligent self-rewards. Acknowledging your effort and providing yourself with a meaningful, albeit small, reward after completing an undesirable task powerfully reinforces positive behavioral patterns. This engineered psychological loop binds difficult actions to gratifying outcomes, making future repetition considerably more appealing. The reward needn't be lavish. A cherished coffee, a brief rejuvenating break, or a few minutes of guilt-free engagement with a hobby can prove incredibly effective in solidifying these new patterns. So, what's our overarching conclusion? Successfully conquering procrastination and building a life of intentional action isn't a passive waiting game for inspiration. It demands diligent cultivation of practical strategies and adoption of a steadfast mindset of disciplined execution. Every small step, every conscious decision to advance despite discomfort, constitutes a significant triumph. These aren't just suggestions, they are tangible tools, ready for you to embrace and expertly wield. The intrinsic power to act, to build, to achieve, resides squarely within you. This profound capacity isn't contingent upon external circumstances or fleeting emotions. Instead, it is directly dependent on your unwavering willingness to apply these proven principles consistently. Don't let another day pass while your ambitious goals remain mere aspirations. Take that very first, seemingly insignificant step. Commit to just 5 minutes. Clear your space. Remind yourself why this endeavor truly matters. Courageously confront and eat the frog. Thoughtfully acknowledge and reward your diligent effort. This holistic approach extends far beyond mere productivity. It is fundamentally about personal empowerment. It is about seizing absolute control of your life's trajectory and purposefully shaping your own extraordinary future. The individuals who achieve the greatest successes are not invariably the most naturally gifted. They are, more often than not, the most remarkably consistent. They understand that any action, even if initially imperfect, unequivocally outperforms the most perfectly conceived intention that never manifests. Therefore, reflect. What one thing have you consistently postponed? What solitary, minuscule step can you take right now, this very instant, to propel yourself undeniably forward? Cease waiting for motivation to miraculously appear. Instead, become your own powerful catalyst. Forge your unique path with unwavering conviction. Begin immediately. Your future self will undoubtedly express profound gratitude for your decisive efforts. The singular method to liberate yourself from stagnation is to initiate movement. And the absolute optimal time to commence moving is invariably right now. Unleash your full, magnificent potential by resolutely choosing tangible action over debilitating inaction, today and every single day that follows. Let us collectively make truly remarkable things happen. We extend our sincerest appreciation for your valuable time and attention in joining us today.